All right, this is going to be a real quick video. My wife ordered a couple little end tables for some little thing we're working on. And so she asked me to put them together, and I figured they were available. We ordered them off of Amazon. So I figured, what the heck, I'll show you how they go together, including a link for them if you're interested. And we'll go from there. They're just common everyday little end tables. They were really inexpensive, but they come with a couple of power things and some USB ports for the side of your bed. They're hopefully very easy to put together, because if they're not, I'll delete this video and it'll never see the light of day. Only kidding. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got here. So these look like cloth sides, a couple of clamps, tons and tons of pieces and parts, some straps, power supply, caution, storage temperature. I don't know, that's interesting. What in the world? We see caution, we go running towards the lights, right? Oh, it's the light. Okay, so it's for the little USB lights that are inside the cabinet and a little remote control. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna throw the garbage over here in the corner. And tons of pieces and parts. So we're going to start off with this one here. And I usually just take the pieces and parts and lay them out and compare them to the inventory I'm supposed to have. These are number 4s. Number 7. Number 3. Number 4, let's look another number 3, number 6, number 1. I'm assuming these don't actually have numbers on them, so I don't know what they are. This is number 2. That's number 3, number 4, 6, 7. I'm assuming number 5, since there is no number 5 here. And that's everything. So I'm going to take all of this garbage, put it all back in here, slide it up there out of the way. We've got some clamps. Oh, these are number 5s here. These clamps. Okay. And we've got A's. All the A's are leaking out. All right, we have A's, B's, C's, D, G, E, J, H, and K, all the way up. All right, and an Allen wrench. All right, so we're gonna slide this out of the way. And then we have a Velcro strap, which is L, and a power supply, which is labeled F on the bag. So I'm gonna leave it in the bag with that one. All right. I don't know if you can see that from that one, but I'm going to assemble it over here, and you can see the parts laid out there. So we have 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2 3s, 4 4s, 4 5s, 2 6s, 1 7, 2 8s. And I don't see 2 8, so maybe this is 8. Yeah, this is 8. 2 8s. 2 9s. maybe this is 8s and 9s. Yes, it is. All right, so the boxed ones are 8s and the flat ones are 9s. Okay. And then 2 L's and 2 R's. I'm going to assume that's these. Oh yeah, it's labeled R right there, as you can see there, and those are labeled L's. All right, so we'll take the L's here and the R's there, and that means we have everything. All right, so before you begin to lay out all the parts on the clean surface, please check the tags and the numbers are correct. Don't screw tightly before all screws are put into the corresponding holes. And please use the screws correctly, otherwise you might damage the desk panel. Assuming what they meant to say is use the right screws or you might damage something. Screws A's, B's, C's, D's, M3 10 millimeters are the E's. Those are there, and a couple of G's, and some M6H's, and I, which is the light. J is which is some clamp, which I don't see the clamp, but it's probably in with the light. And then the Allen wrench, which is not listed, but that, oh yeah, it is. Allen wrench is K, and L is that Velcro strap. So we have everything here. And F, of course, is the power supply. All right, so let's get started. This has one blown out diagram. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we are going to put this here where you can see it. We are going to start with a number 3, a number 5, and 2 number 4s. So a number 3, number 5s, and 2 number 4s. And I'm assuming that we're going to do this twice, here and here. And it is saying that it wants us to do it like this. And then these are held together with which screws? Oh, put them together with C screws. All right, so that's these here. So I'm going to open these, dump them out. All right. We'll put that in there, this one in here. And I'm just going to get them started so that I make sure all the threads are done by hand so that we don't mess any of the threads up. One end is capped, so that makes it pretty easy to know which end goes where. They are kind of a tight fit though. Wow. Yeah, it's a very tight fit. You got to work it a little bit to get it in there because it's just tight fit, which is good because then it won't wiggle around. Well, this side wasn't that tight, so maybe there's just something a little bent out of place over there. So I'm just going to tighten these down hand tight. Now, because these are leg braces, it doesn't look like it's going to have much impact if I tighten these up a little bit. So I'm not going to do them super tight, but I am going to get them together where I can count on it. So that if they're in a place where I can't move them later, I don't have to do them again. It looks like once they get snug, it's only about a quarter a turn to really, right there, and then about a quarter, or no, an eighth to a quarter of a turn, and that's really nice and tight. So we're going to take that, and we're going to set that over here, and then we're going to repeat again. This worked well before. Same exact thing. Over here. They go together pretty easy so far. I haven't really ran into any problems. The threads go in good and smooth. They don't feel like they're none of them have misthreaded or anything. They start pretty well, which sometimes you get those on a little things like this. You get those ones that aren't threaded. They're just kind of self-threading. It's very irritating because it's very easy to mess something up. And I'm sure when they build them and they test them in a test plant that's fine because they mess one up. They just, 1 out of 100, no big deal. But when you're not doing it every day, you mess up 3 or 4%, and that means 3 or 4 customers get screwed. So in this case, that's it. All right, so that's done and that's done. That's step 1 and step 2. We have both of these built. Now it says to take H is to take these 4 legs and put them on. And I'm going to screw them all the way in. And I'm not going to tighten them. I'm just going to screw them all the way in so that when I need to adjust them, it will be unscrewing them. And then that's how you'll balance it when you get to the very end, as opposed to tightening some and loosening some. It'll always be to unloosen them. And that also makes them as stable as they can be, because if they're all the way in, they're the most stable they can be. All right, there we go. That is step 3. We're going to move on to step 4, which is showing part number 7. Going through one of these with B screws. These screws here. In most cases, when you build something like this, you have 1 extra of every screw. As you can see here, we have 1 of these left, which is the C screw. And I'm going to assume that that's the extra one. And so here's what I'm going to do is looks like that's what it wants me to do right there. So I'm going to put this through here. Again, hand tighten these. And again, looking ahead at the directions, that looks like those pieces are okay to tighten up, because that will be the main frame. It shouldn't be a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten them. This is my new studio, by the way. We just got moved back into our house, and we had it rented out while we traveled in our RV for 18 months. Now we're back home. This is my first day back. So these are our temporary place to put stuff while we get furniture ordered. All right. That's that. That's that. That's that. That's this. We are on to step number 5. Step number 5 is 2 long bars, number 6s. And they're going to go like this. One is going to have the bar across it, and one is not. So we're going to start here, and we're going to put these here, and I'm going to assume these go in with B's. They do. You could rest assured, if you were going down the road and wanted these to stay all together, they would all fall out of the bag all over your car. But because I want one out, they won't come out. Isn't that the way it always is? All right, so we put one there and one here. And I do it this way because I can just tip it a little bit this way, and then it lines up with the bar on the other end just sitting on the ground, making it very easy for me to hand screw these in. If they're out of alignment, then what will happen is that they will be very difficult to screw in. Okay. One thing, I'm going to use my forehead here to hold this up. I'm probably going to go ahead and stick this Allen wrench in here because it makes it so much easier to tighten this up if I just spin this Allen wrench. Would have been a really good idea if I had put the Allen wrench after I started it. All right. There's that. And this one I'm just going to start a little bit. That misthreaded a little bit, so I took it out. Just going to do it again. Make sure that it's in there right. It is this time. So now I'm going to take these around, make sure that they're square. This needs to be square with this, so I'm just holding it while I tighten this one side up good. And then I'm going to leave this side a little bit, not loose, but not tight. And that will allow a little bit of flex in here when I go to put things together so that it all fits. And then when I get done, I can tighten it up and it puts it all together nice and firmly. Otherwise, you're really going to be struggling with it and pulling on it and tugging on it. All right. So that was that. Now we need B. Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Okay, so we need A with these 2, 3, 4, and the extra, and we need shelf 2, which I'm going to assume is this one here, and it is. And so it is going in this way. And I'm going to lay this on its side so that I can have gravity support me. And this is where that leaving that little bit of flex in there, it comes in handy because it allows me to open and close this a little bit. So I'm going to put this in here. Those are awful big. Make sure A is the right one. It is. Okay. Those screws for these holes don't feel like they belong in there, but they didn't budge out or bulge out or break or anything. So, and the board is coated on all sides, so I didn't have to worry about which side is up or down or anything like that, which is kind of a nice touch. A lot of the times they'll leave like the back unfinished, and then you end up having to take a board off and put it back on because you weren't paying attention which side was needed to go in and out, and which one was the front and the back. So now I tighten these down. It's probably too much, so I may end up causing myself a little bit of trouble with the last board on the top, but we will see. All right, now you don't want to over tighten them. That is wood, and those have got good threads, and there is a nice pilot hole there, but you don't want to over tighten them. So that's A and that's B, or that's A and that's B, or that's C. This is B. All right, so we still got some B's, we still got some of those. All right, so this one is next. As you can see here, we have, first we do some prep work on the side with the two clips on there, which is this side here. And I'm assuming that the two clips, at this point there is this goes on the side opposite of this. So, and you can see here from the picture, the bar on the left, on this side, on my left, your right, and the clips, these here, or the hole in this, goes on this side. So this goes this way with that bar here, the hole over here. So now we can put this together with part E, or screws E, there we go, and that little plastic clip, two of them actually, and there's pilot for those here. Oh yeah, you can see that fine. There's pilots for those here, and so this is the actual lighting system for this. So I'm going to pull this out of the package, and we are going to unravel this. Oh, I see what it did. They just slid it in here like that. Now it looks like this gets taped down and then strapped down. I'm not sure about this piece here, is way longer than they show it being. They show it just coming back up through the top here. I'm assuming on the bottom this will be mounted in there, but it doesn't show. Oh, this, I don't know. I want to see where, let's flip to the end and see how this ends. I want to see where, so the plug runs down the side. And they never talk about how the light LED controller very strange. It never talks about the LED light in here being connected. So I'm assuming this basically just hangs and you're going to plug it in to the USB on the top here, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense that it would come out from underneath and around, take a spot on the top. It would have been nice if they had just put an extra plug down here for it so that you could plug it in, but that's neither here nor there. There is no answer to it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to peel off the tape here, which is back in the previous step before I skipped forward. This step here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this well, at least we think we're going to. There it goes. I'm going to take this and I'm going to start that right there. See if I can get that. That's not going to come off, so it's under the underside. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take this and just push it down, all the way down as I peel it off so that it's down nice and good. That's good. Then they want, I'm going to take a little screwdriver here, and they want these clips put in Be very careful if you're using an electric screwdriver like this. You don't want to over tighten these. These are little rubber. I don't know if you can see that. These are like little rubber clips, and if you over tighten them, it'll just pop right through and it won't hold anything. I think these are intended for long term to prevent, if the tape comes loose, to prevent this from coming and rolling up. And that's all they really are going to do. If the tape works good, then you don't have a problem. But if you're in a very humid area, you may want to, as you can see, that does not want to. If you're in a very humid area, you may want to do something, maybe glue gun or something to attach that a little bit better before it gets to the point where it's coming off. Because once it's coming off, then you got to take everything off the table and work with it that way. So those are nothing but safety straps to keep that down. I pushed it on really good, and that blue tape is usually pretty good, pretty strong. All right, so that's that. This goes here with B screws, which are these here. And we're going to get these 4, and that is going to leave us with an A, a B, and a C extra. And we are just going to hand thread these just like we did the other ones. Hand thread those in. I'm not going to make them real tight at this point because we got to get this end and the other end all to align to get these to go in. And so that little bit of movement that I allowed for earlier worked out really well. Now, one of the other things that I've just noticed, maybe a good thing or a bad thing, is that this strip is actually longer than that will fit under the table, and it's going to be strapped in through this. I'm going to leave it there to hold it in place. I don't know if that is by design. The instructions here don't really show it that way. If you look at step 7 on that diagram there, you'll see right here that it shows it coming up short, but it also shows it coming up short way over here, and that gap being a lot bigger than it is. And this light runs the full distance of that gap. So my suspicion is that it's just a bad diagram. And I would use it as a method to hold that down. Now it does make me have to compress this a little bit with my hand to get it to go in. But once it's in, you can see it's smushing that gel on top of those LEDs, making that fit nice and tight. And it will prevent it from coming up also. There we go. And that's nice and tight, nice and snug. Now I'm going to go down to this end also. And it was these two on this side with this bar that I left loose. And I'm going to tighten them. Now everything should be tight and in place. All right. If I ever need to level it out, I know it's always go down. And voila, nice and stable. Okay. That's that. Now we need, that was step 8. Now we need step 9, which is to put this in. Like that. And they are showing this is screwed in, and this strap is what is holding it. So we will screw this in. I'm assuming these are E's, which are these little screws. Again, very careful to put it in all the way, but do not over tighten it. That will not take much to strip these out and it not hold anymore and become loose and not hold when you plug things in. So you want to make sure it's tight so that it doesn't create you any trouble, but you don't want it over tight. So you want to be very careful with that to make sure. Like that, I still have a tiny bit of wiggle on just this side. So I'm going to give it just a little extra twist, like that, without overdoing it. You probably should even use a hand screw. That's interesting. This side, interestingly enough, oh, I never went back and tightened this side. That one was only very lightly hand tight and it fell out as I was doing that. So I'm going to tighten this side now too. I'm thinking, why did that fall out if I just tightened it up? But I can see here, this is the one with the rubber that I got distracted by and never did come back to this side and tighten it up. So let's tighten this up. There we go. All right, so then we want this. It's showing it midpoint right about here. I don't think it's going to make much difference where. Just needs to hold it on there. Allow you not to pull too much on it there. I am probably going to take a couple of zip ties once we're done here and put one in place of the Velcro up here at the top. I think that would have been a better choice for them to include. Instead of a piece of Velcro, include, 1, 2, 3 zip ties, and then this cord would be off where I could plug it in somewhere. That works, but not particularly my favorite way of doing it. Okay, then it shows that these bins need to be built pretty easy. This opens up like this. This slides in like this. Now, what I don't understand we got 2 knobs. They just put the screw up through this hole here. Can you see that? Let me just slide this back out of the way here. Put the screw through the back, through that hole, and then tighten your knob on. And that completes your drawer. Let's turn this around. And that should allow that to go in there. I'm not quite sure I understand why there was no one on the back. I'm assuming, oh, I know why. Because these rails, yeah, so this is the left rail. So on the left side, I missed that. Where is that at? L1, L2. So I missed this step. So these rails, let's take a look at these rails here. These rails slip in and slide down. So we're going to put them into the bottom, slide them up, and then push them down and lock them in place. And that's the L. And this is L. The second one goes push you'll notice that the top of these is a little bit bigger cut than the bottom. Let's see if I can get an angle there where you can see that. And you can see, because it's bigger up here, what you want to do is you want to slip this piece in, and that'll allow this piece to go in, and then slide it down and lock it in place. That keeps them from coming out. So you push it in this way on both sides, and then push it, and then slide it back down, and that locks it in place. And we do the same thing with this side. We're going to put in the top first, wedge it in, slide it back down to lock into place. And those should all lock right into place nice and well. And the same one for this side. And slide down to lock into place. And then your drawer slides in nice and easy here. So we rebuild the second one. Open this up. Take the compartment, push it down in there. Wow, I slid those all the way across the room. Let's push this in through the hole, put the handle on it. And slide this in. All right, let's try it out. We take this and plug it in, which should give us USB ports, conveniently located right here. And our little remote located here. We're going to take this remote out of the package. And you'll see here there's a little battery protector. Pull out the battery protector. And don't know if you can see that. But you can see the blue lights, green lights, red lights, yellow lights, cyan lights, pink lights, and regular white lights. Brighter, dimmer. Not sure how much the dimmer dims. And off. On, off, on. Looks like the nice thing is it remembers how you have it configured. So if you just want one color, you can just turn it off and on like that. You're done. Now the question becomes is if you lose the remote or the remote stops working, is everything garbage? Anyway, there's your table. I will include a link in the description below with this product in case you're interested in buying one, or if you've already bought one. I hope this helps you install it. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.